Oh snap, did you like that? A little bit of surprise intro action so we can set the mood right for today's topic. Ironically enough, today's discussion will be about pattern recognition. What better way to start the conversation by breaking my current pattern method for the start of my videos? Patterns are defined as followed. Noticeable regularity in the natural and man-made world that repeats itself in a predictable manner. As a species, being able to cognitively recognize patterns is important. To us, patterns offer a visual clue that alludes to an underlying order that governs the actions of whatever bears the pattern. Pattern recognition is used daily by all of us. Whether you realize it or not, we use patterns as a template that enables us to quickly analyze a situation, understand how it works, and more accurately predict how it will behave in the future. Many investors use patterns in order to dictate the flow of their money. By recognizing their own spending tendencies, they are able to create an allotment dispersion that will serve as the process to continue saving money and building wealth. This only works if their income pattern remains the same, however. Leaders use pattern recognition to quickly spot potential harmful situations and use preventative measures to reduce the likelihood of that harm manifesting. Interrogators, forensic investigators, and detectives leverage their pattern recognition to better inform crime scene processors so that they may build a better detailed and more sophisticated probability model to weigh the strength of evidence. After this video, you will be able to help others conceptually understand the importance of patterns and how to recognize them. When speaking about natural patterns, the term sacred geometry often comes up. Sacred geometry refers to various shapes and forms that have been used traditionally in art, architecture, and meditation for thousands of years. These same shapes and forms are also found in natural organisms. Sacred geometry can appear somewhat esoteric, but a basic understanding can provide a helpful way of viewing our world that you can use in your own life. Ancient cultures, including Christians, Hindus, Greeks, Egyptians, and many more, recognize that certain patterns or geometric shapes are repeated throughout nature. For instance, the cells of a honeycomb are hexagons, and a snail's shell is a spiral. These common patterns and shapes came to be known as sacred geometry. They were further broken down into various numbers, mathematical formulas, and specific symbols that the ancients believed were the building blocks for everything in the universe. Modern science supports this theory. It's been found that the molecular shapes that form the basis of life are in fact many of the same patterns identified by the ancient cultures. Sacred geometry refers to the ways that shapes and patterns are repeated throughout nature, including the mental and spiritual worlds. A full study of these patterns reveal the myriad of ways that we are connected at and to all levels of life. Every discipline, every way of knowing, can be shown to have a correlation in sacred geometry. Even mathematics would not be possible without it, for numbers and their laws arise out of and could not exist without shape, form, proportion, and the relationships these reveal. Knowledge of these sacred symbols and mathematical formulas allowed the construction of many historical buildings, such as the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the Greek Parthenon, and the many temples found throughout South and Central America. There is a lot of information about sacred geometry in particular, and to try to condense all of its principles into one video would be preposterous. So please leave a comment below if you would like to see me expand the topic of sacred geometry, because I would love to. Okay, back on track. If we were to describe patterns more rigorously with a more detailed explanation, we first need to recognize the analytical process. A pattern in itself helps us understand how a pattern becomes a pattern in the first place. It is the precursor to defining the real cause and effect relationship that results in both pattern formation and the interrelationship between patterns themselves. Studying patterns in nature brings us closer to the clarity of understanding, while blessing us with the aesthetic experiences that some consider to have spiritual significance. By using art, science, and math to study natural patterns, we discover that not only is everything connected, but nothing has the choice not to be connected. To study anything is to study everything. We might not have realized it, but many children's developmental toys are specifically designed for children to practice pattern recognition, so that they learn to make more accurate predictions and use logical connections when using their reasoning skills. Beyond children's toys, many aspects of adult life revolve around and are made easier by using patterns. Facial recognition, vocal recognition, fingerprint analysis, traffic lights, all function reliably because of their inherent patterns. Even our days, if we follow routines, are patterns. Why do you think we all loathe Mondays? It is because we can accurately predict that Monday marks the beginning of the work or school week, and it may be 5 more days until we get another break. Patterns are used every day for menial tasks like driving to work, but patterns are also used for more intensive tasks as well. Wall Street moguls, for example, use patterns in every aspect of their operation, even right down to predicting price movements of certain securities. If you would like me to expand on this topic, please let me know. Advertising companies use your personal data to more accurately identify recent and upcoming trends. Using patterns to identify trends provides them with an advantage over us because they can tailor their advertisements based on our particular interests at any given time. The medical community uses patterns in a multitude of different areas, including the identification of hereditary ailments, identifying potential issues because of patient behavior, like the patient's diet or the amount of sleep, and remarkably, they use patterns during emergency situations to recognize and implement the necessary chain of actions in order to save the life of somebody. Patterns aren't always a good thing, however. Patterns and behavior repetition are cousins of our psychology. If we don't recognize soon, could have lasting negative effects on our lives. This usually takes the form of habitual compulsories, usually brought on by our own insecurities. These can be mild or can be severe. Either way, pattern recognition is irreplaceable in determining a treatment. This is also something I could expand on in the future. You just gotta let me know. The balance patterns have on our lives is nothing short of remarkable, and the ability of recognizing those patterns truly has played a decisive role in what we've become. A beautifully complicated, frustratingly lovable, and numbingly determined species that are just trying to figure out what role they are supposed to be playing in this universe that seems to be better suited for obscenely gigantic and unbelievably powerful entities. We might be small in comparison, but we have something they don't have. We have each other, and strangely enough, that is a comfortable sentiment. Well, like always, this has been a pleasure to present to you. My name is Connor, and now we are all Balanced Finance. Please leave any comments or criticisms below so that we might all learn from them. Your opinions are valuable, and I appreciate you for watching. Take care.